Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have gone through the introductory part about the environment as well as the components of the ecosystem. Today, we will discuss about the trophic levels in ecosystems. As we may observe that ecosystem involves a cyclic path. The cyclic path which is completed in various steps. For example, the food chain that do we have mentioned here, we may observe the producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, quaternary consumer, and at last the nutrients it passes and it is gets released through the decomposers again to the soil. Thus it makes it available for the growth and development of the next generation of the producers. So we can say the first of all the solar energy is trapped by green plants, and the green plants utilize solar energy to reduce carbon and carbon dioxide. So we know the green plants, they photosynthesize, they prepare their food in the presence of sunlight, and they do reduce the carbon dioxide to carbohydrates, and these prepare the food by utilizing the abiotic substances which are present within the environment. May, for example, different types of minerals, water present within the soil, they do utilize for the formation of the organic substance which is the food. Now the second aspect, the food is taken by the consumers. So the food, it is grasped from the producers by consumers, and when the food is absorbed into the body tissues, it performs many essential functions. For example, here we have mentioned grasshopper. So when the food is absorbed within the body tissues, it helps to perform vital important functions to regularize the life processes such as the production of energy as well as the growth and repair of the tissues within this particular living being. Now, if we go for the next aspect, the food passes from one organism to another in stepwise fashion. So, the food, it passes from one organism to the another in a stepwise fashion, and there is definite arrangement in successive levels in an ecosystem. So, the successive step or level of food in the arrangement of producer-consumer relationship in an ecosystem is known as trophic level. As we may observe within this forest food chain, the food is formed first of all by the producers. So the producers occupy the position of first trophic level. The food from the producer is taken by the herbivorous animals, that is, they are the primary consumers, and so these constitutes the second trophic level. Likewise, the animals constituting the second trophic level, that is herbivores, they are consumed by the carnivores, or we can say secondary consumers. Hence the primary carnivores, we can also say them as the, for example, in this case, the frog, we may say or consider them as the primary carnivores, or secondary consumers constitutes the third trophic level. So, even the secondary consumers or the primary carnivores, they are also not left uneaten. These are also preyed upon by the secondary carnivores, or we may say the tertiary consumers, and they form the fourth trophic level within the ecosystem. So just like we may again observe that the tertiary consumers or the secondary carnivores, they are also not left uneaten. They are consumed now by the quaternary consumers, or we can say the tertiary carnivores. So likewise, the additional trophic level may occur in the ecosystem formed by the parasites. So we may observe the maintenance of life, or that is the continuation of living activities, require energy. And so energy can be defined, as we know, the capacity to perform activity and the availability of the non-energy yielding materials such as the nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water, etc. is easy, as these circulate between non-living and living organisms several times. The problem arises with the circulation of energy because the energy utilized once by a green organism or population is converted into heat and is soon lost from the ecosystem, as the prime source of energy is the sun, and the energy enters the food chain as the radiant energy of sunlight in the form of electromagnetic waves, and the organism takes energy as chemical energy in the form of food. The radiant energy is transformed into chemical energy by plants. During the process of photosynthesis, the organisms convert the chemical energy in the form of potential energy to store during the period of rest. This is done by arranging the constituent atoms of the food in a particular manner. So when needed, the stored energy in the form of potential energy is utilized by converting this into free energy known as kinetic energy by rearrangement of these constituent atoms. So now we'll discuss about the transfer of energy. The transformation of any these forms of energy in the process of working obviously results in conversion into heat energy. So the circulation of energy does not take place indefinitely. The movement of various forms of energy in a food chain is guided by two physical laws of thermodynamics. According to the first law of thermodynamics, thou, we can say it is also known as the law of conservation of energy. It states that thou the energy may be transferred from one to another form, yet it may neither be created nor destroyed. So this is the first law of thermodynamics, which is also known as the law of conservation of energy. Whereas according to the second law of thermodynamics, the radiant chemical energy, which is also known as non-random, cannot be converted into heat energy, that is the random form of energy, without some degradation. So therefore, when the chemical energy accumulates by the plants during the process of photosynthesis, it is converted into kinetic energy by the herbivores. Some degradation of energy will take place through its conversion into heat energy. So when these grasshoppers, or for example in this case the primary consumers, they will consume the producers, that some degradation of the energy will take place through its conversion into heat energy. So the entire energy of the plant is not passed onto the successive links of the food chain. The amount of the energy decreases during circulation. And so according to the law of Lindemann, he stated that only 10% of energy of each consumer passes on to the next consumer. So we can understand it by the fact that only a very small amount of solar energy is absorbed in the food chain by producers, and the major portion of the solar energy is absorbed by the atmosphere, and some amount is reflected by clouds and dust particles. So, for example, if the plant, so we can understand by the fact as only 1% of solar energy reaching to the plant is converted into food energy. So if a plant absorbs on an average 1500 calories of energy in the form of light per day, then only 1% it would be 15 calories of food energy would be formed. And when a primary consumer, that is a herbivore, suppose in this case the grasshopper, it consumes the producer, then according to the 10% law, it will get only around about 1.5 calories of food energy. Though this energy is not lost according to the first law of thermodynamics, yet it is transformed into heat energy and escape from the food chain according to the second law of thermodynamics. So the same will happen when a carnivore will consume the herbivore. So it will be able to derive only about 0.15 calories of energy, and this process will continue on in the further successive stages. So this is the law of Lindemann, which is also called as 10% law. So by this 10% law, we can easily observe the fact that so much little amount of energy is available for the next level of consumers. So food chains generally consist of only 3 or 4 steps. The loss of energy at each step would be so great that it would be very little usable energy remains after the, we can say, the fourth trophic levels. So till so far here, thank you. Have a nice day.